Welcome back to another video, another transcriber from Reddit video. Today's topic comes from the subreddit Ex-Lutheran, posted by user Lucifina123. The post is tagged with a spoiler, and the link that they share is to another subreddit post, this one from Ex-Christian. The title of the post reads, "Letter I got back from the church when I called them out on protecting pedophiles on their staff." To see the letter, we're going to go over to the subreddit Ex-Christian. This one not only has a tag for spoiler, but also has a bright red tag saying, "Trigger warning, sexual abuse." The post here is an image post, with text below it reading, "Why they thought this letter would make me want to come back to their church is beyond me. They continue to victim blame and are not taking responsibility for their actions." This is the article the letter is referring to that I, quote, "accepted the version of," end quote. And we see linked here the gmtoday.com Christ Alone Abuse Charges article. That article is similar to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel article that I covered, where it discusses the Thiensville principal charged with failing to report child abuse. The principal's name is Michael Henning, and as far as I know, as of recording, he is still being investigated. But let's see what the church has to say about this. In case you didn't know, this is a Wells Lutheran church school combination from Thiensville, where one of their teachers, Daniel Rick, was outed and charged and is going to be sentenced for sexual abuse to minors. The reason the principal is being investigated is because there seems to be evidence to lead the investigation that he covered up all reports of Daniel Rick's abuse. But does that concern the church? Let's read the letter. Here we see the response letter is dated February 5th, 2026. And we see, "Dear," user's name is blacked out, "we received your letter this week and are hoping you'll be open to a short response." Side note, this short response is 6 paragraphs long. Short response, my ass. Continuing on. "It sounds like you've accepted the Ozaukee County News graphic version of things that happened in 1994. You should be aware that the newspaper was interviewing a man who at the time was 14 years old. I'm very sad that he was abused by the former principal. No child should have to undergo that, and I wish it had never occurred. So does everyone else here. At the same time, he was a very young teenager, and as parents of teenage boys yourself, you know how their impressions of events are not always spot on." Side note, key example of blaming the victim. Continuing on. "Let me give you one example. From his young teen point of view, it was the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod who gave the family $10,000 in exchange for an agreement not to sue. This is not the way it was. This was our church's insurance company giving the check to the family to pursue counseling for their son. It was an act of compassion. Our synod has never, and never will, give money to someone to keep them from legal action. If someone is proven guilty under the law, he deserves the law's judgment. Mr. Zastro was punished by our criminal court system, including with jail time." Also, side note, there is no mention here of directly laying the blame at Mr. Zastro's feet. You would think that with him being punished by the criminal court system, that they would be okay with acknowledging the great harm that he did. But no, it appears that they're minimizing it. As if to say, that happened in the past, why can't you let it go? Continuing on. The article also deframes Principal Henning with blatant inaccuracies and innuendos. I'll be glad to talk with you more about that, but you should know also that he has never knowingly covered up criminal acts of teachers, nor would he. He cares deeply about students' welfare and truth. Side note, then why is he being investigated? The fact that he's being investigated means that somewhere along the line, he was okay with covering up teachers' acts of abuse. Continuing on. My plea is that you don't accept what you read in the paper as gospel truth. Let the courts do their work before coming to any conclusions. They are doing the investigating. We pray for the victims who were hurt in any way by our teacher and are doing everything we can to keep this from happening again. Side note, they're not listing examples here. Any parents of any students attending this school, please be aware of this. Push for answers. Push for actual actionable steps that they're taking, including any child abuse prevention training that they're forcing their teachers to take. This is important. It's important to do that in order to prevent this from happening again. Continuing on. As you can imagine, we are brokenhearted by events that affected any child, and the dozens of faithful, blameless teachers who have given their lives to instruct children about life and salvation in Jesus over the years keep on quietly and effectively doing their loving work and putting smiles on children's faces, despite the discouraging slander of the press. Side note, interesting that the words the and of are exchanged like that. Someone needed to definitely read this over before sending it out. Continuing on. In the meantime, my concern for you is that an article like this may keep you from taking an honest look at your spiritual life. We contacted you because we care about you and are worried that you are wandering from the truth. Note that the word truth has a capital T on it. Continuing on. I don't think you wish us to excommunicate you. That would imply you want us to proclaim God's verdict that you are no longer believers in Jesus Christ and are headed to eternal hell. I think what you're asking is that we release you from church membership because you no longer want us to take responsibility as a church family for your spiritual care. If that's so, we will act on your request for a release of membership and give you a formal notice when the action has taken place. Sincerely, Pastor Ebert. I know it's 6 paragraphs down the line, but it's so interesting that the pastor brought up excommunication. Why not just mention the member's original request for release, if that was stated? But no, bringing up excommunication, using the threat of excommunication, and them seeing it as a way of sending you into eternal hell and misery. And doing so because you can't handle that a member is rightfully upset and asking you, what measures are you taking place and why do you continue to apparently defend this principle, especially with the investigation that's taking place. Again, please keep your eyes on this school and what steps their administration takes. Thank you for watching/listening, and I will see you in the next video.